Greetings, dear friends. Welcome to our circle, the meditation for the common good. Today we work with the energies of the Aries festival in its last day of distribution. And as always, we come at this time in our circle to bring our focus to the topic that was premeditated in our preparatory meeting by the custodians of the group purpose. And through our sharing, the topic that was selected for this month is leadership of soul, power through balance. As always, on the energies of the cardinal cross of which Aries is the part, we bring our focus to the wider theme of new leadership, cleaning the house of religion and politics as one of the prerequisites for successful preparation for return of the Christ. And so today we come together to place this topic into our group chalice and lift to the energies, or through the energies of the full moon towards the hierarchy, asking for their guidance and expansion of our group vision to understand better what is seeks to precipitate at this time. Thank you for joining, and let us start. Over to you, Tracy.
I think Brigitte would like to maybe read the purpose statement for our group, and then we'll go to the seeds from the quarter moon. Over to you, Brigitte.
Thank you, Tracy. Our purpose is to magnetize the ideas of common good, freedom, and brotherhood as the highest values of humanity at this time. We recognize and cherish diversity of perspectives in our group, creating a space capable of invoking, receiving, interpreting, and radiating a higher synthetic vision. We serve as an Asbramic outpost, building a group bridge of Buddhic energy. We evoke the soul of humanity. We envision humanity as being the seed that is flowering. We prepare the way for the reappearance of the coming one. And over to you, Tracy.
Thank you, Brigitte, and thank you everybody for being here today in this full moon. I'm going to read now the seeds that we received through impression from our first quarter moon meeting in this cycle of Aries. Building the Antakarana bridge to create the path to manifest the new leadership, the leadership of the soul. Let us serve our group and serve the masters. By doing so, we serve our fellow men, and all shall be well. New beginnings. Reconnecting with the divine creative will. Connecting with the divine creative will The energy is now rising deep within the Sushumna of humanity and flows outward. And finally, power through balance. Thank you. Over to you, Brigitte, who will do our meditation for today for us. Thank you.
Sense the warmth of our hearts as we link together. Holding our chalice up, we invoke the impressions and energies which will guide and support the common good of humanity and our planet at this time. Our intention is to be of service, assisting human and planetary life and activity as we focus together as a group in preparation to receive higher impressions. We align with our soul, and from here with the group soul. Now we enter our group heart, the heart of our chalice. From our group heart, we align with the hierarchy and all the unseen beings and souls who aid our invocative and evocative efforts on behalf of humanity. We lead our group mind into quiet receptivity to hierarchical impressions that are available to us during this Aries full moon time. Aries is the purveyor to our solar system of fire and of dynamic nature of God, which has in it the qualities of fostering and nurturing heat, and also of the fire which burns and destroys. Through Aries, the first ray of will or power reaches our planetary life. Aries is part of the cardinal cross. This is the cross of God, the Father, and therefore of the incarnating monad. It is the expression of will or power as it expresses itself through the great creative process. Aries is the birthplace of divine ideas. There are four keynotes in Aries, which is given symbolically to the incarnating soul. These four keynotes are: express the will to be and do, unfold the power to manifest, Enter into battle for the Lord. Arrive at unity through effort. Deep thought of Aries. I come forth, and from the plane of mind I rule. Let's connect with our topic for this month. Leadership of soul. Power through balance. Leadership of soul. Power through balance. And as we deepen our contemplation, let us ponder on the following questions. What is the essence of leadership of soul? And how can we recognize it in the world and in our daily lives? What is the essence of leadership of soul? And how can we recognize it in the world and in our daily lives? What is the needed next step in group life and in humanity to express power through balance? What is the needed next step in group life and in humanity to express power through balance? In leadership of soul, what is the difference between power and power through balance? Is balance always needed? Leadership of soul, what is the difference between power and power through balance? Is balance always needed? It's time to return from the depths of our pondering. As we draw together the impressions from our contemplation, let us allow them to take form. They may come to us as words, pictures, symbols, sounds, colors. Drawing our impressions together, we now rest in silence for a few more moments. See our impressions flowing together into the group heart, filling our chalice and vitalizing it with radiant light, enhancing its beauty and the wisdom of its tone. Together, we direct this light upward to the hierarchy and await their blessings upon it. Now, realizing our invocation today, we witness its radiance pouring downward from our chalice into the lower planes, stimulating all receptive hearts and minds. Grounding our work today and the energies we have invoked, let us sound the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. In the center which we call humanity, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Om. Om. Om.
Thank you, Birgit. Thank you, everyone. Let's just hold a few more moments in silence so we can write down our impressions, and then we will open the chat box. And in the chat box will be a link that you can click on to continue sharing your impressions with the group over the next couple weeks before the new moon meditation. And you can save the link in the chat box. And if you lose it or need it again, just contact Alexander Bugito or I. Thank you.
Thank you, Birgitta, and thank you, Tracy. We will have now time to share our impressions. Though if you would like to continue holding the silence, you can leave now, and as Tracy suggested, to share impressions via the community board. And we also will have additional opportunities to meet in a circle to share impressions at the quarter moon meeting on coming Monday, April 1st at 18:30 GMT, which is 2:30 afternoon Eastern time. And please know there's daylight saving time in Europe starts on March 31st, this Sunday. So there will be time shift for those of you who are in Europe. And our new moon meeting will be on April 9th at 18 GMT or 2 p.m. Eastern. And so now we are opening the circle for sharing. If you would like to offer your impressions, please unmute yourself. And as we listen to each other, let us continue holding our group chalice, recognizing that each sharing, each impression is a piece of puzzle that expands our wider vision of the unfolding plan.
Well, I guess I'll start. The first question, what is the essence of leadership of soul? and how can we recognize it in the world? The first thing that came to me when it was, what is the essence of leadership of soul? Immediately, the essence to me are the qualities of ray 1 through 7 that are coming in through the soul, and their highest, most virtuous expressions. And how we would recognize that in our world and through ourselves are the highest expressions of those virtues through those qualities as they express themselves through truth, beauty, and goodness, whether they be in our thoughts, our actions, or our deeds. Question 2, what's the next step in group life? And what came to me was to continue as a group and individually also, because we contribute individually to the group, to be vigilant in living a meditative way of life, making ourselves an example to those around us or anyone we come in contact with, and try to become a soul-infused human being, allowing that soul quality to shine through us. And the third question, leadership of soul, what is the difference between power and power through balance? It came to me that when you're looking at the soul as the leader of everything, the power that to me is the power coming from the monad. So the soul is receiving the power of the monad, and then it has to find a way to adjust it to match the personality. And that's where power through balance comes in, because the soul is the one that has to make that adjustment. And yes, balance is always needed, or the personality will experience distress, disease, burnout, whatever through the nadis on the etheric level. So that's what I received. Thank you.
Hi, Jill here. The thoughts I jotted down for number 1 was, as you mentioned, Tracy, truth. People should lead with love, understanding, and with no criticism. They should be universal beings with no prejudices. The second one, zealotry must not be present. All isms must not be present. Conflict must not be present. Acceptance and understanding is needed in all things. And for number 3, I put balance is always needed. One-sided power puts some at a disadvantage. Balance allows all to have their needs taken into consideration, and balanced giving means fairness, and it avoids separateness. Thanks.
Hello, this is Judy. For me, when I think of leadership of the soul, the first thing that comes to mind is it needs to be grounded in love wisdom. I see soul leadership as someone who can be both magnetic and radiatory, and they base their actions on principles of unity, of right relations, of the common good. I think the leadership of the soul brings forth the best in others, including others' leadership qualities. For what is needed for the next step, especially in group life, is to move into the idea of council leadership or the idea of group leadership, that everyone within the group contributes according to their abilities, that there's an order and a flow, and it's based on the idea of service. What is the difference between power through balance? In some ways, they could be the same thing, depending on how you look at power. To me, power really is the ability to integrate will, love, and activity into a synthetic whole. And the idea that by balancing these two, the soul certainly is the middle principle and is the balancer of those. So for will and activity to really be balanced, there has to be the middle principle of soul in the middle of it. And shared leadership again is another focus. Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Lynn. When I looked at the first question and heard it, the first thing that came to mind to me is basically what all of you have said so far, but in maybe slightly different words. We're told in the blue books that soul is always concerned with the group. And I think when we see people acting and speaking in the world, we can gauge that for ourselves. Are they concerned with the group, or what are they concerned with? And as far as our own motives also, we can examine them according to that criterion. And then for number 2, I got something that's very earthy, but I think the rest of you said it better, but this is a very direct thing that came right into my mind that I thought was kind of fun anyway. And it was, Lynn, go get rid of your political party affiliation and register as an independent. And I kind of wish that everyone in my country, the US, would do that and then address issues rather than rhetoric of parties. Anyway, number 3, in my mind, of course, power through balance is so important. And I thought of it in terms of, like the triangle. You have opposites at the base, say, and then you have that synthesizing point at the top. It's kind of to do with, in a way, with the middle path and getting past opposites. And through that, you create, it's a creative act of balancing when you can recognize the two opposing forces that are able to synthesize and create a new point. It's a creative act, I think, that takes will to get to, for me at least, to bring myself to do that when it's so easy to hear opposition all around me. But you have to be willing to really look at things that are going on, look at things around you, look at others, look at situations, try to attempt to do it through truth and reality, as people have been saying, and then see what true needs there really are, what the problems truly are, and then create that third synthesizing point. Glad to be back with everyone. Thank you.
Hi, it's Katya Kaufman. Those are really big topics, but as for the first question, what is the essence of the leadership of the soul, and how can we recognize it in the world and in our daily lives? To me, one of the qualities of processes that are being guided and led by the soul, one of the qualities is expansion. Personality tends to narrow things down, or narrows it normally to the point when it becomes impossible to resolve. And when we are following the line of the soul, it has this quality of expansion, and it expands the issue, widens it, so we can actually see from this, like, shift from the problem to the goal, to see what is the actual task, how to of resolution, how to resolve it. And then besides that, the second line always comes: is it our dharma to deal with it? So is it really our goal? So what is our role in this situation? That was for the first question. And as the issue of balance, the particular thought that came to me was that when the power meets this impulse, there is always going to be the rebound, the force that kind of shifts us back. It's basically physics, right? So when we think about the balance, it is something that allows us to take into account both movements and realize how far we can move forward and how far we're going to be moved backward, and to see that balance of direction, really, that it is important to see in which direction we are being moved through this impulse. And that allows us to make those evolutionary steps, step by step by step. With each, we are forced to move backward. But if we hold on to that balance of the direction, we can progress steadily. And I think that is the part of the presence of the soul in this equation, as a balancing factor, as a marker between the spirit and the matter, as a marker to which degree matter can receive the spiritual energy. So it's our mover and shaker. Yeah, thank you.
There is a sharing in the chat from Andrea. I will read it. Dearest group, I'm unable to share through voice today, but include these thoughts. As soul, we stand at the center point where we understand all perspectives. Leadership through listening with open-hearted and open-minded patience and curiosity. Sharing perspectives with sincere and humble interest, without judgment and with mindfulness towards synthetic solution. Compassionate attention encourages discernment and heartfelt tolerance, which creates a wholeness within imbalance that leads to cooperative resolution. Thank you, Andrea. I can share my impression about the nature of the soul leadership. What I recognize is that, in a way, soul leadership is the recognition of soul leadership. It's a next step in recognizing the active presence of soul in our lives. It's still pretty quite a new phenomena that the acknowledgement of soul became mainstream. It's not a strange thing to talk about soul in very wide circles of people. And it became pretty much accepted reality. It can be debatable, but it's accepted reality. And recognizing that soul can be an active agent in our day-to-day life, in a way, it's the next horizon. It's recognition that's not that I'm a spiritual being, I have a soul, but that the soul actually directs my actions and conditions my choices. It's in my perception, quite an expansion. And I think it's a very quite a powerful thought form to meditate in the cycle of Aries. Thank you.
Lynn, again, this might be slightly off topic, but I was reading this week and I was looking through Treatise on Cosmic Fire and stumbled onto some information that sort of has to do with what we're talking about. It's an example, I think, of how the hierarchy has led over time. On page 753 in Cosmic Fire, they talk about the a period, the last 100-year cycle that we're just ending now, next year in 2025. They talk about of course, this was written in 1925. They talk about this new 100-year period and how, well, there's a beginning part of it. And then they say in the year 1966, specifically 1966, that a new initiative is being started. And they say, of course, new initiatives are started every 100 years, but this is a major initiative, much more powerful than has been done for some time. And that might be something people want to look at. Again, it's page 753. And they talk about actually the presence of the Christ Spirit and some of the things they're going to try to accomplish from 1966 on to the end of the last century. It's just kind of, I think it relates to some of the things we've talked about in general for the last week or so about leadership in the sense of how the hierarchy works. Okie doke, thanks. I have to ask, what are some new things, new ideas, new programs at various levels of materiality or abstraction? What are things that we can create here um, as the next step for humanity in trying to balance all these divergent groups and so forth? There must be some ideas that we have that would help humanity and help our group life to flower. Even some specific things. I mean, what are some of the things that are being done in the UN that might help? I wish I knew more about what they do, and I'm going to try to maybe join that group now more often than I have in the past and see what's going on. But I think some of you maybe have taken part in that group. What are some of the ideas the UN is putting forward that we might mention and support?
I can share specifically, if you'd like. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals are a focus. And what we do, in addition to looking at those goals and their higher correspondence, which really is on a soul level where they originate and come from, invoking energy and supporting it through energy, but then looking at specifically what is the UN doing in terms of meetings for that week, that month, and looking at what goal it pertains to and supporting those groups on the ground who are in fact working on specific goals. This week, the focus is on goal 16, which is the culture of peace. We're looking at resolutions that are happening at the level of the Security Council, looking to energize leaders to work at their highest level in a group formation. The other idea around the culture of peace is to look at community leaders who are supporting the concepts. So for us, the focus is to work on the goals that humanity basically has put forward and look at where they're happening in the world and then to energize them.
Thank you, friends, for our sharing, and let us continue holding the tension of group focus and sharing our impressions via the community impressions board. We will try in this cycle to use the community impressions board more actively, bringing impressions that were shared there into our discussions at the coming meetings. And please save the date to join us for the quarter moon meeting on next Monday, April 1st at 18:30 GMT, 2:30 afternoon Eastern, and the new moon on April 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. And we also want to encourage you to focalize one of the coming monthly cycles of the meditation for the common good. Focus on meditations at the full moon, as Brigitte did it today, and as Brigitte will lead us at the new moon. So that's the role that the focalizer undertakes, and also offering the questions for reflection, which big gratitude to you, Brigitte, again today. Very deep questions, stimulating quite a discussion or sharing. So please consider that and let us know which of the months, which of the astrological energies are more resonant for you. And there is a calendar that's, I can share the link now in the chat. It might take a few seconds because I haven't prepared the link handy, but we'll do it shortly. So thank you again, and I invite if anyone would like to sound a mantra to close our work today. Meanwhile, I'm putting a link to the chat for our calendar.
Well, I guess I'll volunteer. Since our topic concerns the leadership of the soul, I'd like to end with the invocation of the soul. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. Om.